together.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Nefarious TV. Today we are going to be taking an extensive look at another ARG called the Tinman. But before we go any further, I am beyond excited to announce that I will be joined tonight by some of my all-time favorite channels. If you are here, then my guess is that some of these channels are your favorites as well. With that being said, I would like to welcome Atrocity Guide, Night Terror, and Nexpo to this analysis. Every single one of these channels has played a pivotal role in getting Nefarious TV to where it is today, and I cannot be thankful enough for them. Make sure to check all of them out after this video if you haven't heard of them before. I'm positive that if you like my channel, you will love theirs too. I would also like to take a second to assure that everyone knows what exactly an ARG is. All too often, it's easy to forget that this community is an obscure part of the internet, but I got you guys covered. An ARG, in essence, is a game, an alternate reality game. ARGs combine real-world events, information, and locations with a story-driven narrative that is acted out by the players, or in other words, us. Most often, a video or social media profile will be the first piece of the puzzle to surface and initiates the game. It can be acted out on multiple platforms and over several days, weeks, or even years. And although ARGs can be extremely creepy and sometimes disturbing, you can rest easy in the knowledge that it's just a game. At least, most of the time. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and put on your sleuth hats, because this one is strange. Welcome to Nefarious TV. With so many cryptic YouTube channels, internet mysteries, and ARGs being created on a daily basis, it's not always easy to find the good ones. This has led to many ARGs going unsolved or halfway solved. Tinman is over 3 years old and still remains a mystery to this day. This is one of the more complex and interesting ARGs I've had a chance to delve into myself. On May 25th, 2015, a YouTube channel by the name of Tinman was created and followed up by an immediate upload titled Tin_RE01. It's a fairly straightforward video that uses a common trope among ARGs. Take a look.
1, 3, 1, 4, 9, 2, 5, 8, 2, 1, 3, 1, 9.
This is very reminiscent of a number station. Number stations are radio frequencies mostly used in foreign countries that emit different types of code. They were used during times of war, especially during World War I and World War II. They're used to deliver coded messages to spies, military units, and high-ranking authorities. 10RE01 appears to be a short video version of a number station. The low quality coupled with the low rumbling sounds creates an ominous atmosphere. However, this alone could be written off as another attempt at a run-of-the-mill ARG. But I can assure you, this isn't as simple as it appears on the surface. Tinman continued to post a new video to the channel every day for 10 days in a row. They all had a similar title and were created in the same format. On the 11th day, a video titled "The Key" was uploaded, and for the first time, we see something different from the number station format. I shortened the clip to save time, but the entire 4-minute and 30-second video is filled with old black and white footage, cryptic hidden messages, and strange noise. So what does all of this mean?
When the Tinman channel first surfaced and released all of these videos, it began drawing attention to itself by placing ads on YouTube. Unfortunately, there isn't any footage of these ads that we can find, but they've been described by users as both disturbing and intriguing. Eventually, this drove the Tinman mystery to Reddit and 4chan. Some very hard-working and dedicated internet detectives began decoding each video and adding their findings to a pastebin document. We're going to call this group of internet investigators the TMRT, or the Tinman Response Team. They discovered that each number in the first 10 videos aligned with a letter in the alphabet, 1 being A, 2 being B, 3 being C, and so on. The only difference is that the zeros are placed in front of the single-digit numbers to help separate them from the 2-digit numbers. Using this simple cipher in the first clip, tin_RE01 gives us this: NAMNITEHTMAI. This obviously doesn't make much sense, but if you simply reverse the letters you get this: I am the Tinman. So if we take this method and apply it to all of the first 10 videos, it forms the following message: I am the Tinman. Found the code? Good. Then you've heard that the messages are playing backwards. Remember, there are always deeper meanings. The first one is for the gullible fools that can't see, that can't hear the second meaning. He's calling out to us, because it's dark and grief is only the start. You must realign and hurry forth. If you've listened this far, grace will bestow. We must quickly carry out the mission set before us. At this point, it appears to be just another ARG that's trying to be edgy and cryptic with no goal or narrative in sight. I've seen countless ARGs that use this simple cipher and similar approach, but there's something else. What about the strange audio that's playing in the background of these videos?
1 4 9 2 5 8 2.
This is everyone's first thought. Just run the audio through a spectrogram, but nothing turns up. The clue that helps us determine the background noise of these videos lies in the first part of the decoded message. Good. Then you've heard that the messages are playing backwards. The key word there is heard.
The messages are playing backwards.
You must keep this private. The real message comes in the dark. Seeing isn't believing. Hear words. Darkness will save you. He will not save you. Grace, grace. Stand by for further orders.
This is the message that we hear when we take all 10 of the first videos, reverse them, isolate the low-pitched noises we hear in the background, and speed up the video to 400%. Within both the first message decoded from the numbers and the second message found when you reverse the audio, we can find several clues. The first one is for the gullible fools that can't see, that can't hear the second meaning. I personally think that the creator is referring to the second hidden message amongst the first videos. The gullible fools refer to those who figure out the number cipher and move on, not realizing that there is more. You must realign and hurry forth. This could refer to the fact that we had to cut and realign the hidden audio from the first 10 videos to form a message. We also had to speed up the video to 400%, or in other words, hurry forth. The last thing we can find in these first 10 videos is hidden messages within the titles of the video. Since each video is titled with different letters after the underscore, we can put all of these together to get this. Reversed, we get, "It's not over. I'm still her." I think it's safe to say that Tinman meant, "I'm still here," but because of the odd number of letters, left it as her. Going back to the 11th video of the first wave, the key, we're given several other bizarre messages when decoding the clips. Most of this video appears to be made up of old black and white war footage, along with random clips of space missions and medical videos. Throughout this clip we can find a couple of clues. At 2 minutes and 5 seconds, we see footage of a hallway with a series of dials and numbers flash up onto the screen. These numbers were extracted and used at a later point to help crack another cipher. At 2 minutes and 33 seconds, while we're being shown a time-lapse of a growing plant, for a brief second, we can see a fast-forward 4 times symbol appear. This is a very obvious hint that the video needs to be played back at 400% speed. We can also hear the same woman that reads the numbers in the first 10 videos count to 9 while we're shown a military crate that says "Special Tools."
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think the crate is a subtle hint that we'll need special tools to decrypt all of the hidden messages, or that the numbers 1 to 9 are especially significant. This could even simply be referring to the fact that we must realign the first 10 videos to get the message. My point is, every single detail in this puzzle has meaning, and we can't gloss over anything. Just the fact that this video is titled "The Key" says a lot about the importance that it will serve in solving this mystery. Applying the previous effects of speeding up and reversing to the key reveals another hidden message.
Mitchell is God.
We can hear an electronic song being played, along with a message in the beginning that says, "Mitchell is God." After these first 11 videos were released, the Tinman's Google Plus page was discovered. There isn't much on the page, except for a screenshot of what looks like a living room and a profile picture of this. This is the first picture we get to see of the Tinman. A man or woman with tinfoil wrapped around his head. We can also see 2 more number sequences, found in the tagline and in the introduction of the About Me section. These translate to "I am the Tinman," whereas the second one is something a little more menacing. A trail to the body is a link to the mind. The Google Plus account was created almost an entire year before the first set of videos were released on the YouTube channel. This just goes to show what lengths the creators went to while constructing this puzzle.
Following the upload of the key, a second wave of videos is released. Starting with an unlisted video called 10 Body 1, these are very similar to the first wave of videos, except this time we have circles around the numbers, along with a blinking pattern emitted by them. Body 1 holds so many hidden sounds and messages. This video alone is one of the more disturbing parts of this ARG. This first thing we can find, by reversing the audio and speeding it up, is an altered version of President Kennedy's 1961 speech about going to the moon.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of returning him to the earth. No single project will be more important to mankind, more important to mankind,
This version seems to omit any mention of landing a man on the moon or space. However, the most unsettling thing that it leaves out is the word safely. So what I'm gathering from this message is to focus on returning him to the earth, which is just another way of talking about death. Next, if we speed up the audio from 10 body 1, but don't reverse it, things become much more ominous. This sounds like the screams and knocking of a woman in distress, and it sounds as if she's being tortured or held captive. Either way, I believe that the voice we are hearing is from someone in a bad situation. The last message we received from this video comes from the blinking pattern in the circled numbers. The TMRT was able to identify this blinking as Morse code. Once decoded, the message translates to, "Be sure to drink your Ovaltine, fool." This is an obvious reference to the 1983 classic, A Christmas Story. The main character of this movie, Ralphie, tirelessly attempts to decode a secret message from a children's radio program called Annie's Secret Circle. After drinking gallons of Ovaltine, Ralphie finally receives his long-awaited Orphan Annie's Secret Society decoder pin in the mail. These games were common marketing practices used back in the day to try to get children to want more of a certain brand. After weeks of waiting for the pin, the radio messages, and hours of decoding, Ralphie discovers that the secret message is simply just, "Be sure to drink your Ovaltine." The TMRT has spent hours attempting to gather information from the movie in order to discover the coding system used in Annie's Secret Society, assuming that this message is a hint that the same code would need to be used in the Tinman mystery. Although I'm sure that the TMRT has all had this exact thought, it is my belief that this message was added simply as a taunt to everyone working on the project. While the TMRT might have been making some headway, the Tin Man decided to lead them all on a wild goose chase and get them to waste their time on that. It's not so much that the internet sleuths working on this fell for the trick, but instead are forced to look at every detail under a microscope. ARGs oftentimes lead to dead ends, but you still have to spend the time to rule them out. The next 5 videos are released within an hour of the unlisted 10 body 1, and only a couple of small discoveries have been made about these videos. The first is that if you take the last 3 characters of the titles of all 5 videos and rearrange them to be a 1 to 5 count, it gives us UBCHI. UBCHI, or UBCHI, is a double columnar transposition cipher used by the Germans in World War I. Messages encrypted with UBCHI require a key to be deciphered, and unfortunately, the key to decoding some of these encryptions has yet to be discovered. But with this new information we can see, Tin Man is once again giving us hints. When we take each of those 5 videos and add our usual effects, we can find that this time, they all have the same hidden message. Another thing that I want to note before we move on is that Tin Man created 3 separate playlists on the YouTube channel. The first wave of videos were put into a playlist with this long number title. This number was run through this simple number cipher without yielding much result. When translated, we get this. One member of the TMRT discovered that the playlist in question didn't always have the same title. Looking into the Google cache history reveals that the title of this playlist used to be 025091. Decrypting this with a simple number cipher gives us this result. The word set. Following this, with the second and third wave of videos being released, 2 more playlists were created with similar titles. The second playlist had all of the second wave videos, and the third playlist had just a single video, which was the only one in the third wave. Neither of these playlists were decipherable without an UBCHI key, just like the first one. I'm jumping ahead a bit, but eventually a key was discovered, and these playlist titles were decoded. They're each just a single word. Playlist 1 translates to subroutines, Playlist 2 translates to disambiguate, and Playlist 3 translates to charlatans. These are more hints left by the Tin Man.
The third wave is made up of only a single video, TIN_LRU6. Although it's formatted like every other Tin Man video thus far, it's with this entry that things become much darker. These numbers translate to a strange sentence. Sinners know it's unfinished, the pieces come after you squint. UBC8I. At the time this video was released, the second wave videos had yet to be deciphered, and the TMRT was still unaware of UBCHI. Reading the last 5 words of the deciphered sentence out loud reveals a resemblance to UBCHI. This brought the TMRT to the realization that the Tin Man might be lurking in their collaboration and posing as a member of the TMRT. After the players became stuck trying to find meaning in the second wave, Tin Man dropped a very specific hint directly related to the puzzle in question. Although possibly coincidental, this is a common practice among ARG game masters. As usual, the next step for this video was decoding the audio. Applying our usual methods gives us the following.
Her fate is yours. Her fate is yours.
Her fate is yours. Who is her? The next part of the Tin Man mystery is perhaps the most unsettling and disturbing. 2 seconds into TIN_LRU6, a string of text appears in the bottom left corner, lasting less than a second. This appears to be a URL encrypted with UBCHI. Members of the TMRT immediately began trying to decrypt it, but were unable to do so without a key. Eventually, a breakthrough was made by one of the members by trying every possible combination of letters in the URL. By brute forcing this code, the TMRT was able to reverse engineer the decryption with the UBCHI cipher and discover the key they'd been needing all along. But where does that decrypted URL lead? It leads to a video entitled The Pen, where we finally get our answer on who her is. This video depicts a woman who's locked in a cage, banging on the walls, being held against her will. It appears as if she's attempting to gain the attention of someone close by. Running the audio from this video reveals a hidden message. So, what is the Tin Man doing with this woman? He says that her fate is in our hands and claims that she is his sacrifice. But a sacrifice to whom? The last thing this video reveals is a picture of the Tin Man himself. An inverted selfie briefly appears on screen, and if we invert the image again, we get this. It's undetermined what the title The Pen actually means. Some think it's a homonym. Since this is the first time we have seen Tin Man write in the spectrogram, the title could be a clue. It's also believed that the pen is short for the penitentiary, considering the content of the video. After discovering this video, the TMRT began desperately trying to decipher the meaning in an attempt to save the girl. Whenever an ARG surfaces and something violent or threatening appears, the notion that it could potentially be real becomes a powerful motivator for solving its puzzles. Although most seasoned ARG players are accustomed to having the lines of reality blurred, there's still the nagging thought of, what if? Regardless, the TMRT failed. The pen was removed from YouTube, and the fate of the woman is unknown.
Following the discovery of the pen, a final series of number station videos were released. To date, these videos have yet to be decoded, and it's believed that there is a different UBCHI key required to solve them. However, the background audio of these videos has been decoded.
The game game ends here, Anons. It's been fun. Time for some real work. But I'm still here.
Wait a minute. This is the second time the Tinman has used the word her in place of here. The first time he did it was because he was using 2 letters in the titles of the original 10 videos, and the sentence created an odd number of letters. But this time, the message came back in the form of audio. Could it be that the Tinman isn't a man at all? Is the trapped woman from the pen actually the Tinman? This is something that has been stuck in my head since I began this analysis, and it would be a great way for the Tinman to throw everybody off. But this is just a guess. I could be totally wrong, but it's something to consider. As for the rest of these number station videos, they remain a mystery. The only other detail that the TMRT was able to figure out was that if you take the titles from all 5 of these videos, we get another code. This is the same title as the second playlist we talked about earlier that translates to disambiguate. This brings us back to the playlist titles and what they could possibly mean. Playlist 1 was titled Subroutines. The definition of subroutines is a set of instructions designed to perform a frequently used operation within a program. In Playlist 1, we see a lot of common tropes used frequently in ARGs. I think this was Tinman's way of telling us that not everything is as simple as it may appear. Playlist 2 was titled Disambiguate, of which the definition is to remove uncertainty of meaning from an ambiguous sentence, phrase, or other linguistic unit. Or in other words, to make the meaning of something more clear. The TMRT believes that the Tinman is telling us to look everywhere we can, to leave no stone unturned. And finally, Playlist 3 was titled Charlatans. The definition is a person falsely claiming to have a special knowledge or skill, a fraud. This is believed to be another hint that the Tinman was posing as a member of the TMRT. After the release of the last number station videos, Tinman began uploading videos of static images every single day. There are now 1,300 videos on the Tinman's channel, and most of them are these static image videos. Every one contains 1/16 of a full image. Every 16 videos can be rearranged and put back together like a puzzle in order to form a full image, all of which are screenshots taken from the 11th video uploaded on the channel, The Key. These clips also play a slight static in the background audio. Some of them also feature a 0 at the 6-second mark. The TMRT noticed that there may be a pattern in what clips feature the 0 and have been attempting to crack it with no results. Mixed within the ever-growing library of static image videos, there's been a few other uploads that are much different. These are similar to the Key video, as they are made up of actual clips that are much more than just numbers. The first one is an unlisted video called Tin_Body 2. This video shows a scrambled up image separated into tiles. This footage was shot in the same room as the pen. We will see random numbers appear in different tiles at different times. Take a look. The first thing to bring up is the images we get when we realign the tiles in the correct order. We can see the Tinman grab the woman from the pen, strangle her, and throw her onto the ground. This sort of debunks my theory about the Tinman being a girl, unless the Tinman has another person pretending to be the Tinman to throw us off, but it's doubtful. The second thing to note is that the audio translates to a song about President Kennedy. This mystery has an obvious connection to President Kennedy, but I'm not quite sure what it is. The last thing to mention is the message we get when we solve the numbers encryption. When decoded, we get the words decoy and be a fool. If you look along the left side of the video, we can see the words subject is no and then some numbers. The numbers translate to Canterbury, so the full phrase would be subject is no Canterbury. I'm going to jump slightly ahead to tin_mind and tin_link since they are both short. The first is called tin_mind. We get another glimpse at Tinman himself about halfway through. Translating the audio gives us what sounds like a MIDI song. Lastly, we get a string of code that translates to, "This message is brought to you by fools." If anyone recognizes this song, please comment the origin below. The next video is called tin_link. This one is pretty simple. The numbers we see flash up on screen translate to this sentence. At the point that this video was released, the TMRT had stopped putting nearly as much work into this ARG. The hype had died down and anyone else working on this project had backed away. There were only a few dedicated people left and progress had slowed. I think this is what the message is referring to, and by releasing this video as well as a few others, it would hopefully reignite the interest in this mystery. Running a spectrogram on this video reveals an ancient symbol called a Horus Eye. This was an ancient symbol of protection, royal power, and good health. Some define this symbol as the all-seeing eye. It's unclear why the Tin Man used this symbol here, but it's most likely a reminder to all of us that he is watching. Jumping back to the normal timeline brings us to tin_C2A, which comes directly after tin body 2 and right before tin mind. This one is fairly long, so I'm only going to touch on the important points. In the beginning, we have some solid bars that form two wheels and begin spinning. We can see some zeros appearing periodically in between the two wheels. The hypnotic spinning wheels also sets the theme for this clip, as most of the dialogue refers to mind control, hypnosis, and brainwashing. The next interesting thing is that we can hear a fairly quiet rumbling playing over most of the track.
Certain intelligence operations.
And second,
Free all the people enslaved.
I want to remind you that there are products in your home that can cause injury or death.
Your government insists.
To survive, we must be just as alert.
However, it periodically becomes silent for short bursts, always during the parts with dialogue. If we take every word that falls within those periods of silence, it creates a sentence.
Execute.
All the people enslaved.
Your government insists.
That we still don't know.
The timestamps of the silent parts all happen to fall on prime numbers as well: 31, 37, 43, and 83. I'm not sure if this is a coincidence or if it might hold some meaning. It seems that every detail of this mystery has been planned to a T, so my guess is that it does. Throughout tin C2A, we can find some other codes that lead us down a rabbit hole of strange clips. These are all very short, but some viewers believe that they may be the key to discovering who Tin Man is. There are 3 of them, and they're all unlisted: Tin Donations, Tin Everytown, and Tin Monsters. All 3 are fairly straightforward. No codes or hidden messages are revealed in these, but the name and content they include could potentially say a lot. In Tin Donations, we see a clip taken from a 1970s public service announcement about health and safety.
Will always dig down and give after a tragedy.
The clip taken states a single sentence: "People always dig down and give after tragedy." Then the track goes silent and the video cuts out for about 15 seconds. About 21 seconds in, we hear another voice chime in and say,
Gives you something to think about, doesn't it?
In Tin Everytown, we see some old black and white footage and receive this message.
Every town, the town in which you and I live, in the north, south, east, or west, our homes, our work, Our recreations and security are challenged daily by an enemy. This enemy strikes oftenest at youth. The enemy and his victims are easily forgotten.
There is also another 0 that flashes in a single frame at the 13-second mark. Tin Monsters shows us some old documentary footage, and this time we get this message.
Monsters do have their place. In the zoo, in your nightmares, in the deep, in your favorite horror movies.
These 3 videos seem to be the biggest nudge so far. They feel like specific clues that will lead us to the identity of the Tin Man and why the game has been created in the first place. It's also possible that these are just simply another diversion. Finally, this brings us to the last video that isn't one of the static image tiles. And this one is far different than anything else Tin Man has shown us. It's a 360-degree VR video called Tin Room. Take a look. We are in a room with 4 screens, one on each wall, each displaying sequences of numbers. Below us, we can see some numbers lined in a circle, and at the last second of the clip, if we look towards the ceiling, we can find more numbers, also lined in a similar pattern. These have all been decoded, and these are the messages we get when translated. Tin Room is the piece of this mystery that stands out to me the most. At the end of a lot of well-formed and high-production ARGs, it is often revealed that the ARG was created to promote some type of movie, book, or video game. It doesn't seem random that the last time we see an upload, other than the screenshots from the key, that it's done in a virtual reality. This could lead us to the idea that maybe the Tin Man mystery was created to promote something that utilizes virtual reality. The Tin Man has led us on a wild goose chase for the past 3 years, and we have yet to establish a solid theory for what this entire project represents. We have a game master that wears tinfoil on his head and takes pleasure in mocking and misleading their players. It seems to me that the tinfoil itself is much more than just a disguise. When we look at the name of most ARGs, they almost always hold very high significance. We have all heard the phrase, wearing a tinfoil hat, when referring to people that believe in outlandish conspiracy theories. The Tin Man has left us several clues that point us in the direction of some of these conspiracies, like the moon landing, flat earth, government mind control, and many more. There's one more very interesting discovery I made by chance while I was doing research for this analysis. I spent hours reading through every forum, chat log, video comment, and post history for the members of the TMRT, hoping that it might reveal which member the Tin Man was posing as. What I discovered was a rabbit hole of connections that lead back to several different accounts, videos, and entirely different ARGs. But with the amount of interest that the Tin Man received, it's more than likely that several of these leads are just copycats and hijackers. Whenever an ARG manages to gain some notoriety, many players will attempt to force themselves into the role of the game master to piggyback off of their success. So it's possible that most of the leads I discovered are irrelevant, but there's one clue that potentially reveals the identity of the Tin Man himself. A few years ago, a series of different YouTube channels and social media accounts began making waves in the ARG community. Over time, these mysterious accounts slowly revealed to be tied to an ARG collective called The System. The System was created by and consisted of these specific ARGs: Cave of Shadows, Awake, NS0MNBY, Elias Doyle, and Skeeve. A lot of players believe that The System heavily ties into, yet again, another ARG called Meat Sleep. I'm fairly certain that many of you are familiar with Meat Sleep, as it is a fairly well-known project that has been analyzed by several YouTubers and writers over the years. I will link some of these analysis videos for Meat Sleep as well as the system down below if you would like to get caught up. Once I came across this connection, I began cross-referencing all of the information from the system with all of the information from the Tinman. It seems to be connected in more ways than one, using similar enciphering tools, similar editing techniques, and the most noticeable tell is how similar some of the voices sound.
46, 65, 62.
The messages are playing back. The messages are playing backwards.
Let's keep this private.
I started looking into each individual channel associated with the system and noticed that one of them sticks out more than the rest. NS0MNBY. Almost every similarity that I was able to pick up on came specifically from the NS0MNBY channel. All of this was definitely interesting and something to consider, but the real breakthrough happened upon searching for keywords relating to both channels. While clicking through each different account associated with the word NS0MNBY, I happened upon this. I'm unsure if NS0MNBY left this as a possible clue on purpose, or if this was somehow a mistake of some kind, but it's definitely interesting. I highly suggest looking into the NS0MNBY ARG if you are curious about the similarities. One of the major things I considered was a possible explanation for the pen. In the NS0MNBY videos, there are several references made to a man named Robert Pickton, or the pig farm killer. Robert Pickton was a man that killed as many as 49 women between 1983 and 2002. He is thought to have killed his victims and fed them to the pigs. It's believed that the girl from the pen video was actually locked inside of a horse trailer of some kind or a barnyard building. Is it possible that the pen actually stands for the pig pen? There's a lot that goes into this theory, and I think it's potentially worth investigating further, but for now we will leave it at that. Tinman continues to upload videos every day of static images taken from partial screenshots of the key, usually 1 to 2 a day. Each video receives 3 to 4 views, so I believe that there are a couple members of the TMRT still hopeful they will solve it. My goal for this analysis was to hopefully reignite interest in this channel so we can finally put this to bed. I tried to include as many details of this mystery that I could, but if you are interested in joining the cause and attempting to crack some of these clues, I highly suggest reading through the Pastebin document. I would also suggest reading through the Reddit forums and the Tinman wiki that the TMRT worked so hard on putting together. They have done a fantastic job at getting us this far and providing us all of this information. This was something I felt needed to be covered and has been masterfully done from the start. The Tinman has provided us with an intriguing and ominous experience, and I am hopeful that we can solve this together. I thank you all for joining us on this adventure tonight and watching till the end. If any members of the TMRT are watching this video, I would love if one of you guys contacted me by email. It would be really cool to talk to you guys and see if there's any new developments. I would also like to thank Nexpo, Atrocity Guide, and Night Terror for joining me on this analysis. So with all of that being said, I thank you guys again, and I love you all. Good night.